Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Sports Zone.
It's Old Home Week here at Turner Field in Atlanta as the San Diego Padres make their lone visit here in Atlanta, Georgia. Familiar faces are back with the Padres. Formerly known as B.J. Upton, Melvin Upton is back. So is his brother, Justin Upton. And, of course, the all-time Braves franchise leader in saves, Craig Kimbrell, now the closer for the Padres. Hopefully we won't see him, for that means the Braves have had a very good night. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Our first look at the San Diego Padres. Joe, a club that made a ton of offseason acquisitions, added a lot of payroll. Unfortunately for them, that hasn't translated into a lot of wins in the National League West yet.
Well, they're at 500. Last year, they were the worst offense in all of baseball. So the people they added were mostly guys in the lineup. They're second in the National League in runs and strikeouts. Very familiar numbers in terms of the 2014 Atlanta Braves. Their team ERA, kind of middle of the pack. They've given up a ton of home runs, which is kind of surprising. But former Brave Justin Upton is tearing it up. He had a great month of May. He was close to setting an all-time Padres record for most hits in the month of May, and trailed only Tony Gwynn by 9. Now, this team's been shut out a lot. They've been shut out 10 times already. If you throw those out in the games where they've scored, they're averaging over 5 runs a game. They're still a very formidable offense thanks to those moves they made in the offseason.
But with Shelby Miller on the mound, you like your chances of seeing the Padres getting shut out for an 11th time this year.
Shelby Miller's coming off arguably his worst start as a major leaguer in Arizona. He couldn't get his fastball over. He struggled with his command. 6 walks in 4+ innings. The good news for Shelby, if there was any, is that he got taken off the hook. He got a no decision because his teammates came back to score enough runs to take him off the hook. But this season, 11 starts, a 1.89 ERA, third best ERA in baseball. Look for him. Expect him to bounce back in a strong way tonight.
Ian Kennedy pitches for the Padres. He's had trouble with the long ball. Justin Upton's having no trouble with the long ball. Let's see if Freddie Freeman and the Braves can keep him in the ballpark as we get you ready for Game 1 of our 4-game set next.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
And I've got to say this. George Brett once said, I'd never want to miss a Bo Jackson at bat because I never know what's going to happen. And I started to feel the same way about Shelby Miller. He is that good, 96, 97 miles an hour with a great slider and changeup, and I never know what's going to happen. But coming off a rough start last time out with 6 walks, we start to wonder if we're expecting too much. But I was able to catch up with today's catcher, A.J. Pierzynski, the Crash Davis, or voice of reason, better yet, who calmed us all down. Let's take a listen.
Heck, everyone has a bad start, and if that's his worst start he has all year, then he's still pretty good. He wasn't going to go out and throw CGs and shutouts every game, but he had a rough start, and we've talked, and he made some adjustments, and I expect him to throw strikes. I think that's the biggest thing. He got a little frustrated. He got a little behind himself as far as not being able to rein it back in and throw the ball where he wanted to do it. As long as he does that, Shelby will be just fine.
So there you have it. Thanks for calming us down, AJ. Really excited to see Shelby coming up next. We'll have lineups for you and first pitch coming up next.
Cooling to the low 80s. It was near 90 and rather humid in Atlanta today. See if the ball does some traveling for the San Diego Padres and the Atlanta Braves. San Diego, as Joe mentioned, comes to town at 29-29. They're 3.5 games off the lead in the National League's Western Division race. Buddy Black is their manager. His starting lineup is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. A lot of new names in this starting 9 for San Diego. Norris is new. Upton, Kemp, they're new guys. Will Middlebrooks, their third baseman. And Clint Barmas, the shortstop, among the newbies, playing for San Diego and facing Shelby Miller tonight.
Who is 5-2 with a 1.89 ERA. He's also pitched real well here at home, but take a look at these National League ranks this season. 3rd in ERA, 2nd in opponent's average against him, and 1st in those categories of hits per 9 innings and opponent slugging percentage. Are you kidding me? A .270 opponent slugging percentage. That's very impressive. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, coming off that Arizona start, number 1, fastball command. He's got to be able to throw strikes today and try to get ahead in the count and avoid deep counts. And the reason is this is a good fastball hitting team, the Padres. So if you get in deep counts or hitters counts 2-0, 3-1, whatever, and you've got to throw a fastball, these guys are pretty good at catching up to it no matter how hard you throw.
So let's hope Shelby doesn't find himself in that spot and he can use his Atlanta defense. A defense that's been excellent all year. 25 errors. The Braves have turned 25 double plays. And And the Atlanta defense presented by CPI Security. Cunningham, former Padre Maven in center, Markakis in right, Uribe Simmons, Jace Peterson, Freddie Freeman around the horn, and A.J. Przinsky once again is behind the plate. Nice crowd filing in on a beautiful night for baseball. Here are your umpires as assigned by Major League Baseball. Paul Emmel will call balls and strikes. Jerry Meals is the crew chief. He's at first. Andy Fletcher is at second. And Jordan Baker will make the calls at third. Braves start play tonight 27-29. 2 games under 500, but still only 3 games off the National League Eastern Division lead. That lead held by the Nationals, who are a half game ahead. I beg your pardon, it's held by the Mets. Nationals are a half game behind New York in the East. So Miller's ready. His first defendable is a called strike, and we're underway. .86 officially at first pitch. Will Venable, 4 homers, 15 knocked in. And a .254 batting average for San Diego. And he's a little late. 1-2 your count. Venable is a familiar face.
Yeah, he's been around with these guys for a while and has always worn the Braves out.
Lifetime batting average over 300 against Braves pitching. And Miller ready now with his 1-2 offering. And he struck him out. Venable's down swinging. That's something else you will see a lot from this San Diego ball club. There's only one National League team that has struck out more than the Padres. That's the Cubs.
Real good slow breaking ball here. Caught the outside corner, got him to swing at it. Already a good sign on those fastballs, Chip, of just delivering it to the plate, driving to the plate and not falling off to the first base side.
Here's the first new face for San Diego. This is Derek Norris, the catcher. He came over from the Oakland A's. He was an all-star last year. He drove in 55 runs for the Athletics. He's knocked in 35 runs already this year for San Diego.
And doing a great job of catching and throwing. He's thrown out 19 base stealers.
Broken bat, 1 hopper to short. Hamilton's got that. And Norris is a quick second out. So let's see what kind of reception Justin Upton gets in his return to Atlanta.
Left fielder number 10, Justin Upton.
A nice ovation for Justin Upton, and well deserved. He played great in his time with the Braves.
As he should get.
Justin drove in 102 runs last year for Atlanta. And he's on pace to fly by that with San Diego this year. 6th in homers, 6th in RBIs in the National League, and Upton hitting .297. He had a huge month of May. Get that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little pop, foul ground. Who wants it? It's going to be Freeman and Miller, and they collide on the warning track. Shelby Miller was calling for that ball, and he and Freeman had a train wreck right at the on-deck circle.
Freddie was calling for it too. Freddie was calling it from the time he crossed the first base bag and just walloped Shelby Miller, who got hit right in the back. Shelby heard him too late.
Ooh, and he fell on that right elbow and right shoulder. So Shelby Miller is charged with an error.
What?
Yep.
Come on.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And up and away to Justin Upton.
You can get charged with an error for dropping a foul pop-up, standing under it, but not when there's a collision. Come on.
Mike Stamos is our official scorer tonight. And another pop by Upton. This one will reach the seats foul. Inning should be over for Shelby. Partner's a little fired up right now. 2-2 pitch in the dirt. It's full count.
I used to work with a guy who would turn to me and say, "I'll be right back."
Wonder who that was.
Yeah.
Few extra pitches now and a full count. And he got up in the swing and miss. 2 strikeouts for Shelby Miller. And a scary collision by the Braves dugout. 3 up, 3 down for the Padres. Well, hope she enjoys the finale tonight. Braves and Padres meeting in game 1. And another look at the collision right on the right elbow and on that gravel warning track. Miller with a raspberry, a smile, and a perfect 1-2-3 top of the first with a couple of strikeouts. Now the Braves will face off with Ian Kennedy. The Atlanta Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup features former Padre Jace Peterson leading off, Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis 3rd and 4th, Juan Uribe 5th, and they're facing a man in Ian Kennedy who's had trouble with the long ball for San Diego.
12 homers in 45 innings. But take a look at this. Talk about some good success over the last 5 years. 1st in starts, 3rd in innings, and 6th in wins for Ian Kennedy since 2010. Pretty impressive. And his DL stint this year for a hamstring, first time he'd ever been on the DL.
And were it not for some awful first inning trouble, Kennedy might be better than the 3-5 record he sports entering tonight's play. He delivers a strike to Jace Peterson.
Yeah, the first inning's been awful for him. High 80s, low 90s fastball with a lot of cutters, a changeup, and a curveball.
Jace trying to bunt, fouled it back. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Eye-popping first inning numbers for Ian Kennedy. 12 of his 33 runs and 4 of his 12 homers have come in the first inning this year. And where do you see the batting average against him before the 3rd out is achieved?
Yeah, 12 runs, 9 starts, and a 375 mark.
That's fouled at the plate. Pretty amazing. He's won 3 games with a .375 opponent's batting average in the early innings.
And one of those wins was his last start against the Mets. 6 innings, just 2 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. 2-0 lifetime against Atlanta.
A little squibber hit toward third. Middlebrooks has it and is thrown to first in time. 1 down. Here's a look at the San Diego defense. Padres have committed 34 errors this year. Middlebrooks, Barmes, Spangenberg, and Alonso around the horn. Derek Norris is the catcher. Upton, Venable, and former Dodger Matt Kemp left to right in the San Diego outfield.
Yeah, they're about the middle of the pack in errors, but one area that they lead the league, and Norris would prefer we not talk about that. Pass balls. 9 pass balls. The next highest is the Dodgers with 6. Might have some bearing on the 4-game series.
And another former Padre, Cameron Maybin, digs in. He is rolling, hitting .296. Multi-hit games for Cameron in 4 consecutive Atlanta efforts. Is it fun or is it nerve-wracking facing your former team for the first time?
It's both, but mostly fun because you're so amped up and you want to do so well.
It's laced foul past Terry Pendleton and out of play. And I would assume that being that amped up leads to its own set of problems.
Sure. You don't want to overdo it. And you don't want to get away, especially if you're Cameron, from what he's been doing so well. Stay with the program.
He's got the whole center of the diamond to play with. As that pitch missed inside, it's a full count. Barmes at short. Big hop. Long throw. 2 outs. So Kennedy's gotten the first 2 Braves in order. That'll bring up Freddie Freeman. And Freeman has hit Kennedy very hard in their head-to-head matchups. And his average at an even 300. 10 homers, and he's knocked in 34. Frankly, he's lucky to be in the lineup today. After Garrett Cole's fastball popped him in the right knee or just below it. I talked with Freddie about that before the game, and he said he got real lucky. It hit him in the calf muscle. And other than his leg going numb for a few moments, he said it really hasn't hurt since. When that ball hit him in the leg, we heard the splat.
Yeah, I thought it was side of his knee for sure.
He finished the game yesterday, and he's in there tonight. And he drives one out of play foul. 2 balls and a strike. Look and listen at this.
I mean, it almost sounded like it hit the catcher's glove.
That's high. 3 balls and a strike. Andrelton Simmons also got hit by a pitch. He's got a nasty welt on his upper left arm. As the Padres shift, and Freeman hits it over the shift into right. Kemp is over to cut it off, and Freeman has the first hit of the ball game. Andrelton was very proud, by the way. He said after Cole smoked him with a 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball, he said, I didn't even cry.
Well, that was positive. Yeah. Especially when you're staring down the pitcher. Off-speed pitch to Freddie that he raked into right field to beat the shift. Garrett Cole's quote afterwards was that I was all over the place, and asked about Andrelton staring him down. He said, I'm sure it hurt.
Pretty good guess. So Nick Markakis bats runner at first. Kennedy to the stretch and delivers down and in. Well, make no mistake about it, Garrett Cole's the real deal. He's an extremely talented pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's now 9-2. As he twirled a shutout yesterday. San Diego lost 4-0 against the Reds yesterday. The pitch. Even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Much as expected of Bud Black's ball club. With all the offseason offense they added. They needed offense. They were dead last in runs scored in the league last year. They have yet to hit their stride. 1-1 pitch.
Well, they've got a very good bullpen, good arms in the bullpen. They strengthened the rotation, signing James Shields. They've got Cashner back healthy, and all that offense that they paid for dearly.
1 ball, 2 strikes. We had Drew look it up for us. The Padres added guaranteed contractual obligations, roughly $250 million with a B dollars. In Upton, in Kemp, in Melvin Upton, Craig Kimbrell, James Shields, and others. So you can understand why there's a lot of pressure on the Padres to do something special this year. And even with all of their offensive problems last season, the Padres finished with 77 wins. They were shut out in 19 of their 85 losses. Almost a quarter of their losses, they scored no runs. Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
First time through the National League for Nick Markakis, but he's going to run into guys like James Shields, who saw a lot of him in the American League and who can pass along his scouting report to his teammates. It might help.
Took the change low, full count. So Freddie Freeman can test out the wheels with 2 outs. And Juan Uribe waits on deck. Runner goes, and Markakis skies one toward left. Upton drifts back, still going back, reaches for the wall, and makes the grab right in front of the scoreboard to retire the side. No trouble for Kennedy in a scoreless first here in Atlanta. Flashback to 1990. Look at that young, fresh-faced kid in the lower portion of the screen there. Look at old Chipper.
Braves had the first pick. They were debating between Chipper and a pitcher named Todd Van Poppel, who was highly rated out of Texas. I think the Braves did a good thing.
ESPN recently had a feature, and I believe they selected Chipper Jones as the best ever #1 overall pick.
Really?
In the draft. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good company when you consider Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. and others.
And the draft is underway tonight. The Braves will pick 14th and 28th in the first round of the draft. Once the Braves make their selection, we'll let you know who that player will be. The first 3 picks are in. All 3 of the first picks were shortstops.
Yep.
So Matt Kemp goes to work for San Diego and takes a strike.
The #1 pick was Dansby Swanson out of Vanderbilt and Marietta High School.
The Georgia kid.
Yep.
Going high in the draft. And a squibber off the end of the bat. Kemp's going to be an easy out. And Miller takes care of him. There's out #1.
Has he got a patch on his elbow, or is he just going to? No, nothing there. He's good. Bubba and Lovey took care of it.
Yeah. He knows how to buck up. 4 up, 4 down as Yonder Alonso digs in. Padres are hoping to have him for a whole year. Last year he missed almost 80 games with wrist and forearm problems. This year he's missed about 3 weeks with a bad shoulder. Ground ball. Peterson knocked it down. Couldn't corral it. And Alonso's aboard with an infield hit.
You know, Jace wanted to make this play off of his former teammate. That ball was hit so hard it kind of waffled his glove a little bit. Hit him on the thumb.
Don't want that to happen. That's caused him some trouble. And you see him flexing that left hand. Remember, he had to have an injection in the thumb to calm down some irritation.
Good point.
So Alonso, the first Padre base runner. That brings up Will Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks came over from the Red Sox in a deal for Ryan Hannigan.
That was good for Middlebrooks. He needed to get out of Boston. He has tremendous power, but he strikes out a ton. And his batting average last year, and he even got sent back to AAA for a time, and it was sub 200. So they were kind of souring on him. It was kind of an uphill battle for him. So a fresh start in San Diego.
High hopper off the plate. Peterson charges and throws to first. Nice play. Middlebrooks retired. Runner at second. Now 2 out.
That ball was bounced high enough that all the way into the ball, I'm sure Jace Peterson was trying to figure out, how can I get this ball to Andrelton and start a double play? But he made the smart move there.
And this will be our first look at Corey Spangenberg, who's the second baseman for the Padres. Popped up left side. That's headed for the seats foul. He's really taken over for Jed Jerko, who was supposed to be the go-to guy for the Padres at second.
And Jerko's only hitting .212 after being given a big contract last year by the former GM in San Diego. And he hasn't performed, so Spangenberg has won it over.
He's a homegrown product, a first-round pick back in 2011 for the Padres. And out of play quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. Corey Spangenberg lives in Oldsmar, Florida. was committed to play college ball at Miami before signing with the Padres. He fought that pitch away. 0-2 your count. Spangenberg got a September look last year. He hit .290 in 20 games for the Padres. Runner at second, 2 outs, and the 0-2 pitch. Bullet foul.
Well, then all the more reason for Jace Peterson to be thrilled to be included in the deal to come to Atlanta. With Jed Jerko having a 4-year big money contract in front of him, and this #1 draft pick also in the wings. Great opportunity for Jace to get out of San Diego and all of a sudden be the everyday second baseman for Atlanta.
Missed downstairs. First pitch out of the strike zone for Miller this inning. It's now 1-2.
Much better mechanics already apparent for Shelby Miller. It's not flying open and not falling off.
I don't think he liked that pitch too much. Spangenberg fouled it away. It's still 1-2. Here's our old pal Mark Kotsay, a former Brave. He's now the Padres hitting coach. 1-2 count. What an at bat.
Yeah, he spoiled a good pitch there. But like his teammates, he's got a lot of strikeouts. It wouldn't be apparent in this at bat, but 30 strikeouts and 124 at bats.
He's seen everything Shelby has, and he's about to see an 8th pitch.
Got a knuckleball.
Tries to tell him what's coming.
Yeah. Throw your knuckleball here.
Into the right field corner. That's big time trouble. Alonso around third is going to score, and Spangenberg with a big league at bat drives home the game's first run, his 7th RBI. It's 1-0 San Diego.
Like they went with a cutter to try to run it in on him. They didn't get it in. Just stayed right there in the middle third of the plate, and Spangenberg is rewarded after a strong at bat.
A 9-pitch at bat. And that'll bring up Clint Barmes. Padres strike first. It's 1-0. They won't be shut out by Miller tonight. And that's bounced off the plate. Strike 1. Fans remember Clint Barmes from his days with the Colorado Rockies. Also spent a brief period of time with the Astros, and then the last 3 years in Pittsburgh with the Pirates. Left side, Uribe's got it, and he tried to make the tag and then threw to first in time, and that'll retire the side. Spangenberg with a 9-pitch at bat singles home Alonso, and the Padres have scored first.
Fort Knox back there. There was all kinds of names all over the draft board and things like that. Everybody excited about who the Braves will take in this first round. Roy Clark, super scout, is going to get on a golf cart, come around, walk out in the SunTrust Club and give me an interview to tell him who he picked and why. Everybody back there, you heard the Braves saying yesterday they're looking for athletes, multi-sport athletes, the best player available.
So, in using that term athletes, if Tom Glavine's in the war room, and I haven't seen him, he very well could be, that means Braves could draft a lot of pitchers.
Yes, that could very well be. Paul, too, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Paul, when were you drafted?
Drafted out of high school by the Reds in the 13th round, and then in the 4th round out of LSU in 1991.
1-0 pitch to Uribe outside.
Exciting day, though, right? For everybody.
It is. It really is. And I got to tell you, when I was drafted out of high school, Gene Bennett, longtime scout with the Reds, sat in my living room and was telling me stories. Now, this is Louisville, Kentucky. Cincinnati's right across the way. And he was telling me stories about Don Gollett and how he built his arm up in Kentucky throwing rocks at squirrels, which I found to be hilarious. And he told me that if I worked really hard, I had a chance to get to AAA. And I remember thinking, you don't even think I can get to the big leagues? They offered me $5,000. I said, make it 10. They said no. And that's when I knew I needed to go to college.
Wow.
Smart guy.
Swing and a miss. Uribe was tied up on that pitch. And Kennedy has his first strikeout of the game. Base is empty for A.J. Brzezinski. You were telling us stories about your draft experience.
But it's not a whole lot unlike Paul's. I got offered $5,000 out of high school by the Washington Senators, but I didn't know I'd even been drafted by them for 2 weeks.
What, they sent out the notice by Pony Express?
Well, I mean, think about it. Information wasn't quite as prevalent then as it is now, and most people learn from the sporting news, you know, after it had
that's
come
right.
out. And that might be a month later unless you were a first-round pick. Senator Scott came around to one of my American Legion games and asked me what I thought of the draft. I said I didn't think much of it. He said, what do you mean? And I said, well, I didn't get drafted. I'd been told I was going to get drafted. He said, well, we drafted you. I said, well, that was 2 weeks ago. Where you been?
Line drive by Brzezinski the other way. He spoils the shift. He might try for two. He's going to try for two, and he's going to make it. As Upton took a while to get it back into the infield. There's a double for A.J. Brzezinski.
It's a good thing that Barmas realized there was nobody at third base, or A.J. might have kept going to third. They had a shift on for him. So he beats the shift, and he rounded second like he might keep going.
So he represents the game-tying run, and Andrelton Simmons will stand in. And he takes a strike.
Needless to say, I did not sign with the Senators. Went to college, went to OU, and got drafted in the 3rd round.
Field plays Simmons around toward right with one out. And another breaking ball to beauty. It's 0-2. Well, these are exciting times for all the scouts, the cross-checkers, the general managers, the assistants. Draft day is the lifeblood of any successful organization, and we know how good the Braves have been in drafting and developing homegrown talent.
Got a shot there of a former GM of the Mariners, Woody Woodward, who's scouting for the Mariners. He was telling us about a draft day decision they had to make when he was the GM. It's a pretty tough one.
What you want with the #1 overall pick, Darren Dreifert, who at the time was the #1 pitching prospect coming out of college, or a young man by the name of Alex Rodriguez. They went back and forth with that one in Seattle for a long time, with Scott Boras as Alex's representative. right field line and foul. Boris kept telling the Mariners he wants to play in LA. Don't draft him. We won't sign.
Yeah, the Dodgers had the second pick.
Correct. Well, the Mariners said, sorry, Scott, we're drafting Alex Rodriguez. And it worked out great for the Mariners. Fortunately for Darren Dreifert, injuries derailed his very promising big league career.
Dreifert was out of Wichita State.
One-two pitch. Now Simmons hanging tough against Kennedy. And a case in point, we talked about it yesterday with the Pirates. If you have a bad team and you're picking high in the draft, you really can't miss on your #1 picks. For so long the Pirates had that misfortune. This just didn't pan out, or they got hurt. But when you get it right, it really can set you up nicely for a long sustained run of success. 1-2 pitch. Lined again and foul again. And that's what the Braves are so excited about with all the offseason moves. For fans, it's hard to understand in this regard. You want instant gratification when you make a trade or you make a draft pick. It's not like college football or the NBA draft. Sometimes those seeds have to get planted and they take a few years to ripen and blossom. Ground ball right side, and Alonso will win the race to the bag. Simmons tried to poke it through the hole. AJ to third with 2 outs, and Cunningham will be the batter. But make no mistake about it, what excites the Braves an awful lot, besides the acquisitions they made, all draft picks. 5 of the first 75 picks belong to Atlanta. They've got international bonus money. They have one of the largest, I think they have the 4th largest pool of bonus money available to sign their draft picks. So this could be a very, very important day in the future history of the Atlanta Braves beginning tonight. Let's see if they'd give Todd Cunningham much to hit with pitcher Shelby Miller on deck.
From what I read and what people were telling me, there was no clear-cut #1 pick in the draft this year, and that it's not a star-studded draft, but there are a lot of good players. Maybe no superstars that jump at you now, but having all those picks for the Braves is a great thing.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. We know the history of the game is littered, as we just said, about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Guys that are picked #1 don't pan out. Guys that are picked in the 12th, 13th, 27th rounds that end up being all-stars every year.
How about the Braves and their success with #2 picks?
Right. It's outside. 3 balls and a strike. Freddie Freeman comes to mind immediately.
Brian McCann.
Right.
And Andrelton Simmons.
Cunningham slaps one toward left. Justin Upton near the stands. Won't have a play. It's 3-2. Strike 3 called, and that'll end the inning. AJ Pierzynski doubles. He's left stranded at third base, and the Padres maintain an early lead at 1-0. Tomorrow night is David Justice bobblehead night, presented by Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans through the gates will get a bobblehead which commemorates Justice's series-winning homer in the 1995 World Series. Visit Braves.com/tickets to secure your seats today. And David will join us in the broadcast booth tomorrow night.
He had a big impact on that game, didn't he? That one off Jim Poole in the 6th inning. In fact, that bobblehead reminiscent of his fist pump as he rounded first.
And the story about Tom Glavine in the dugout yelling, "Just get me one." And he was a man of his word. All he needed for the Braves to polish off the Tribe and bring home a world championship. We'll talk to David about that as Ian Kennedy faces Shelby Miller in the top of the 3rd inning. Quick strike.
16 strikes, 1 ball last inning for Shelby Miller.
A 9-pitch at bat by the young San Diego second baseman Corey Spangenberg turned into a run-scoring hit. One ball, 2 strikes.
Boy, Paul Immel gives you a quick call, doesn't he?
He does.
Like it.
And Miller heats up Kennedy. There's out number 1, his 3rd strikeout tonight. Kennedy now 1 for 14 at the plate. We go back to the top, and Will Venable.
Strikeout pitch kind of been missing from Shelby's arsenal. 2 strikeouts in that short stint against Arizona. Only 1 in 7 innings in that loss at San Francisco.
Venable struck out to start the game, and he takes so little low. 1 ball, no strikes.
A good pitch.
Sure did. Popped him up. Will it stay in play? AJ near the on deck circle. He runs out of real estate. And the count to Venable. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mr. Venable's a smart cookie. He's out of Princeton. Lines 1 toward left, and Cunningham will play it on a hop. 1 out single. Will Venable is aboard in front of Norris.
He just stuck his bat out in front of this one. 2-seamer running away from him. Might not have even been a strike.
Derek Norris out of Goddard, Kansas. Was originally drafted by the Washington Nationals. He was a 4th-round pick. And the Nationals traded him to Oakland for Gio Gonzalez. It's hit high in the air toward Cunningham left, but near the line. He's got plenty of room. And Norris flies out for the 2nd out of the inning. Padres got Norris this offseason with Seth Stretch, an international bonus pick for R.J. Alvarez and Jesse Hahn.
Well, he's having a sensational beginning to his season. The first 2 months. They have 3 guys in their lineup with 30 or more RBIs. He might be down a helmet, but that's tied for the most guys in a lineup with 30 or more RBIs. And one of the teams really surprised me. I think it was Minnesota had 3 guys with 30 or more.
Boy, Paul Molitor's done a marvelous job with the Twins, hasn't he? Started so very slowly, but Minnesota's atop the AL Central after 56 games this year. Tigers are in 3rd place, 4 games back. Cleveland hanging in. They're 6 out. White Sox are 5 under and 7.5 back. 1 ball, no strikes. One thing I've heard about the Twins is the impact Torrey Hunter has made on that ball club.
Yeah.
Much like Gomes and Brzezinski for the Braves.
Yeah, his veteran presence has brought a lot to their team, and playing well. Just a couple of days ago, the American League division leaders were Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and Houston. I don't think too many people had picked those 3 teams at the top of their respective divisions. New York Yankees have passed Tampa Bay by a game and a half in the East.
Two balls, no strikes. Ready pitch, 2-1.
He threw him a breaking ball off-speed pitch to strike him out in the first inning, and then 2-0 came back with an off-speed pitch there.
Justin Upton having a monster start to his Padres career, and we've seen that I should say so often as a member of the Braves. He could put an offense on his back for 4 or 5 weeks at a time and carry you.
He did last August.
Yeah, he sure did.
I thought he should have been the National League Player of the Month in August. Unbelievable month.
Upton hit .343 in May for the Padres. And just back safely as Venable. And Simmons thought he might have picked him off. He had a good look at it. Freddie Freeman looking in at the dugout too. Did they get him?
No. One of the disadvantages of being a right-handed first baseman is catching the ball in the distance. You then have to go for the tag.
Two balls, 2 strikes for Justin Upton. Runner goes. Pitch high. Brzezinski's throw on target, but late. Venable steals his 4th base. And 37 now for the Padres team.
Not a real good jump. He kind of had his weight on his left foot, but the throw was short of the bag, and that allowed him to get in there.
Full count pitch. Struck him out with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Upton has struck out swinging twice, and Shelby Miller leads off the home third next.
You know, we were able to do a lot of good things on the field the 5 years I was here, and I'll never forget those. And, all the fans, they've always been so good to me. So it's going to be good to get out there and see some of the familiar faces. And after that, it's just time to play ball.
Well, with all due respect to Craig Kimbrell, yes, it's great to see him back in Atlanta, but I just soon let him sit right there for the next 4 days.
Yep, good spot. You'll have a good vantage point right there.
Shelby Miller leads off for the Braves. He's down a run. Atlanta up for the 3rd inning against Ian Kennedy. He's had first inning trouble in the past, none tonight for him. He has, though, scattered a couple of hits. That's a little low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Pretty zippy fastball for him too at 93. Went from a 78 changeup to a 93 fastball.
Kennedy's another former #1 pick. He was a Yankee, you might recall. Then he was traded to the Diamondbacks. There was a big 3-team deal between the Yankees, Diamondbacks, and the Detroit Tigers. It was in 2009. He's gone full with the pitcher. Edwin Jackson and Kennedy went to Arizona. Max Scherzer and Daniel Schlereth went to the Tigers. Curtis Granderson, Phil Koch, and Austin Jackson were in that deal too. Big names as Miller's down swinging for out number 1. 3 strikeouts for Ian Kennedy.
Who did you say? Kennedy and Edwin Jackson went to Arizona?
Yep.
And Scherzer was traded away.
And Schlereth.
Yeah. Diamondbacks would probably like to revisit that one.
Yeah. Curtis Granderson went to the Yankees. Phil Koch and Austin Jackson also involved too. Kennedy had a 21-win season for the Diamondbacks. That was in 2011. And went 15-12 in 2012. 3-8 with the Diamondbacks in 2013. Then he was traded to San Diego for Joe Thatcher and Matt Stites. Last year, 13-13 with the Padres. And win 13 games for a San Diego team that had trouble scoring runs like they did tells you how good he is.
That 21-game win season was the year they got to the playoffs and played Milwaukee in Arizona.
4th 20-game winner in the history of the Diamondbacks, joining Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and Brandon Webb. Remember him?
Sure. Boy, what a shame his career got derailed by arm trouble.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Jace Peterson.
Talk about a hard sinker.
That's a little low, full count. It's safe to say that the scouting departments for the Braves and Padres ought to know each other very, very well going back to last offseason. Braves and Padres concluded a couple of big blockbuster deals that involved a dozen players, handful of draft picks. Jace Peterson was one of the principals that came back to Atlanta. Padres knew they had to find a way to score more runs. Sharply hit through by Peterson. He's got a base hit. He'll be sky high as he stops at the first base bag for the 3rd Atlanta hit. Here are the 2 blockbuster deals the Braves and Padres wrapped up December 19th. Upton and Aaron Northcraft for Max Fried, Jace Peterson, Dustin Peterson, Malik Smith, and a 4th international bonus pool slot. And then the Craig Kimbrell Melvin Upton deal on the eve of opening day, which shocked just about everybody. For Maven, Whistler, Quentin, Paravec, and the 41st overall pick in the draft.
Dustin Peterson tearing it up at Lynchburg, hitting over 300 with 4 homers. Was injured in that bus wreck, but he's back off the disabled list and playing again. I'm happy to report.
Foul tip at the plate by Cameron.
There's one other important part right down here on this one. Okay.
Yes.
Very important part of that deal. The Braves are no longer saddled with.
And that's the $42 million owed Melvin Upton for the rest of his contract. No balls, 1 strike. Maven didn't get it, so 1-2. In fact, for the Padres, they don't draft until the 51st overall selection. They lost their own first-round pick as compensation for signing James Shields. And as we just showed you, they traded their number 41 pick to acquire Craig Kimbrell.
That's what happens when you're going for it. You're trying to win now.
That one got away from the catcher. And Peterson gallops into second base with 1 out. It's a wild pitch.
Yeah, not a pass ball, but a wild pitch that bounced up there. You know, clubs that are trying to get their roster put together for a run right now, they make those types of sacrifices, and the Padres are happy to do it, feeling like this is a chance to go for it.
And with the bonus pool money you have to pay your uncertain number 1 pick, wouldn't you rather invest that money in what's a pretty sure thing in James Shields at this point? That's the decision the Padres made. We'll see Shields in this series. Maben bounces one, foul at first. Do it again, a ball and 2 strikes.
Best in the National League hitting with runners in scoring position. And coming into this game, he's hitting .372 since May 15th. That's overall.
And if the Padres knew this was going to happen, they probably wouldn't have traded Cameron Maben. And right now, with Will Myers hurt, I'm sure they wish, with all due respect to Will Venable, I'm sure they wish Cameron was still a Padre right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Line over second, a base hit. Here comes Peterson around third. He will score easily. Cameron Maben comes through again. 2 former Padres bite the hand that once fed them. We're tied 1 apiece.
Just as that infield chopper played a role in the first run for the Padres in the second inning, the wild pitch really helps out here as Cameron comes through. Behind in the count, he came back to get a good pitch to hit and go the other way. That's sweet right there for him.
So 27 RBIs for Maben. That brings up Freddie Freeman, who's got a single already tonight. 1-1 in the Braves' 3rd inning. Back-to-back singles supporting Shelby Miller. Well, Freeman's ready. Shift is on for him. He's got the whole left side to play with. Took a little low. Freeman is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Good numbers against San Diego in his career, and he's worn out Ian Kennedy. Now 7 for 11. .317 career average against him. 7 for 11 with a home run and 4 walks. And a lot of off-speed pitches to him here already. First 2 at bats.
That's off the plate wide. 2 balls, no strikes.
And Kennedy has to get that call. I'm not saying it was a strike, but when he's working to Freddie, if he's going to throw a 2-seamer, a sinker, he's got to get that call to make Freddie try to cover that the next time around if he gets ahead of Freeman in the count. Again, Norris, 19 caught stealings behind the plate. He's right at 32% throwing out base stealers. That's outstanding.
Cameron's got a good lead. 2-0 pitch. He draws another throw.
You know, that's Molina territory.
Yeah.
Remember how good Charles Johnson was with the Marlins? I mean, he pretty much single-handedly, they turned it over to him to control the running game, and man, oh man, was he good.
Benito Santiago, a former Padre. Yeah. Similar effect with that cannon arm. 2-0 pitch. And Freddie didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike. As a kid watching Benito Santiago, he was just amazed at the arm strength he had and his ability to throw out runners while on the shin guards. Sliding on his shin guards, losing his balance. Still,
he was an infielder. He was like a shortstop catching, the way he had that loosey-goosey arm and could throw from any arm angle, from any pitch that he had just caught.
2 balls, 1 strike, and Freddie took a shot to left. That's out of play. 2-2. Well, as the game's reverting back to the way it used to be played, with runners in motion, hits and runs, stolen base attempts, the guy behind the plate plays a bigger and bigger role than just sticking a finger down and saying, "Throw it and I'll catch it." Padres have themselves a good one in Eric Norris. 2-2 pitch. Again, first.
See if he stays with the off-speed stuff here to Freddie.
Runner goes. It's out of play.
Good piece of hitting here. The last 2 pitches by Freddie, they were both fastballs, 91 fastballs, 1 away, and that one appeared to be kind of in on him a little bit, but he was protecting, fighting it off. I think he'd make a mistake to throw him an off-speed pitch now.
Kennedy is paying a lot of attention to Cameron Maybin. Look at that grip. Runner goes. Pitch inside. Norris's throw is going to be late. Maybin was able to get in ahead of the tag. 10 steals for Cameron.
Boy, did he get rid of this quickly. Norris caught it, threw it in the same motion, but threw a short hop. And when that happens, the glove has to come up for the infielder. And Cameron got in there. Able to keep his foot on there as he slid by.
Freeman base hit left. Maybin's on his way to third. He'll get green lighted. Venable's throw is cut off, and Freddie Freeman has put the Braves in front.
Fun team to watch. We keep saying that over and over. And with the way they had to shift on here, they still had a guy on the left side to protect against Maybin trying to steal third, but nobody there to field that ground ball. Nice at bat by Freddie Freeman, working him.
2 weeks ago, he would have tried to pull that ball.
Yes, I agree.
And he'd have been an out. That turns into a base hit. Freeman now hitting .422 with runners in scoring position. Has his 35th Braves RBI. 3 straight singles after Shelby Miller struck out.
He's closing in on Cameron Maybin, hitting with runners in scoring position.
Hey, man. Keep the line moving. That's what Freddie Gonzalez likes to say. And that's what the Braves are doing here in the third. Long inning for Kennedy. He's already up to 70 pitches. I can't think of a team in recent memory that has made such a dramatic reversal of its offensive persona from year to year than the Braves have made.
I agree.
I mean, the Padres are trying to, but
yes.
they're doing it in reverse fashion. They're trying to add power and quick strike ability.
Right.
The Braves have gone the other way. They've sacrificed power for contact, for on base.
And the people they brought in are either learning to do that or were already good at it. This guy was already good at it. Cameron may have been working at it and doing a great job at it.
And for a team like the Padres that doesn't see the Braves very often, I'm sure you can get all the scouting you want, all the videotape you want, but until you play them, I'm sure this is a hard team to get a gauge on until you've played them a game or two. That's taking nothing away from the expertise of Bud Black and his staff, but this is such a dramatically different Braves team. As this one's hit down the right field line by Markakis, that's going to get down the railroad track. Freeman on his way to third. Ball bobbled by Kemp. Freddie's going to score, and Markakis will stop at second. It's 3-1 Atlanta. Looked like Sean Kemp was trying to grab a sea urchin out there.
Well, if it was Sean Kemp on the banks of the Mikosuke Canal,
Matt Kemp,
he would have
him
trouble.
too.
But Matt overran it a little bit. Sean would have double dribbled it, but Matt overran it some. Gosh, history repeats itself.
Oh my God, it's terrifying to see your future. 3-1. He's looking over my shoulder, just shaking his head. I can see him now.
Oh, he's laughing so hard.
Yeah. So Matt Kemp had as much trouble as the broadcaster. And the Braves profit 3-1 as you score. Boy, it was good to see Freddie get around the bases with no difficulty. It looked like there was no issue with the leg.
Don't try to change the subject.
No, I'm. Once that foot's inserted, pal, you know it'll stay there for a while.
It's just great history.
Here's Uribe. He struck out swinging his first time. And off his thumbs and out of play. But this is exactly what we're talking about. Last year, the Braves would have been swinging from their heels, maybe hitting a home run or two. Inning would end with a couple of runs scored. But this kind of contact offense puts so much pressure on the opposing pitcher. Kennedy has surrendered 4 straight hits. After retiring the first man in the inning, he's given up 3 runs.
And for Nick Markakis, as we were bragging on him before the double, being able to hit the ball where it's pitched, putting the ball in play. Remember his first time up tonight, he almost hit his first homer, backed up Upton to the wall in left field, and then he turns on one and pulls it to the right field corner.
In the air towards shallow right. Kemp is there. And he's got it for the second out. So Juan is 0 for 2. And here's A.J. Brzezinski. 32 pitches for Ian Kennedy on a muggy night in this Atlanta third inning. That's the other part of the puzzle. Work deep counts, force the pitch count up.
And remember, he went to a full count on Shelby Miller before he struck him out. Had him 0-2 and went to a full count and got him.
Swing and a miss. That's a good pitch. It's moving at 1. Three runs on 4 Braves hits. strike one for A.J. Brzezinski. Marlins are playing in Toronto tonight and getting clobbered 7-2. Blue Jays in the fourth. Brad Hand is pitching for Miami in that game. Marlins have won back-to-back series. This is the first time those two teams have met since they made their big blockbuster deal a couple of years ago.
Is that right?
Saw those young players coming from Toronto to Miami. One ball, two strikes. Shift on for Brzezinski. And he couldn't stop his swing. AJ asks for an appeal. He's not going to get one. Instead, he's rung up. And the Braves settle for 3 runs on 4 hits. The mystical waters of the Chattahoochee caused Matt inning for the Braves. They score 3 runs on 4 hits, and they've taken a 3-1 lead. You understand the Braves are about to make their first round draft selection.
They're on the clock.
They're on the clock. And so is Shelby Miller, who gave up a 2nd inning run. And he'll face the Rain Man, Matt Kemp, Yonder Alonso, and Will Middlebrooks.
I understand Tyler Stevenson out of Kennesaw Mountain High School, who was high on the Braves list, has already been taken by Cincinnati. And the young shortstop out of Griffin, Cornelius, is that his name? Has already been taken as well.
And you can understand the Reds picking a catcher because they're concerned about Mesoraco. He's got the bad hip. In fact, he's gone down to the minor leagues to learn how to play left field. He's not had surgery yet. He's got a hip impingement that might require surgery. He can swing the bat, run the bases, all that. Just can't squat. That's kind of a prerequisite for the job if you're a catcher. Kemp fouls it away. Low balls, 2 strikes. Kemp had a big day Saturday in Cincinnati. Speaking of the Reds, he hit a home run, drove in 5 runs. And that ended a long power drought for Matt Kemp. He went 174 at bats between long balls. Hard to believe it's early June and Matt Kemp's hit just 2 home runs this year.
Shelby's got the lead. We'll see how he gets after it.
I'd say he got after it in good shape. 96. That low and away strike earns him his 5th strikeout tonight.
There's no question about his delivery, though. Out of the windup, he is driving right to home plate. When he was in Arizona, he was having to hurry up to catch himself. He was falling off the mound so bad to the first base side.
As he said, it was just one of those games. It just never was in sync for him in the desert. Looks good tonight. He's pumping over strike after strike. In fact, Miller's thrown 49 pitches, 37 strikes so far. That one just missed. Shelby began the day third in the National League in earned run average.
Oh. Guess it was inside.
Garrett Cole of the Pirates and Max Scherzer of the Nationals started the day ahead of Miller, who began play with a 1.89 ERA. Got a piece of A.J. Brzezinski. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It is warm and more humid tonight than we have experienced since we've been home.
Missed a corner. Deep count for Yonder Alonso. Alonso was a first-round pick of the Reds. He just took ball 4. It pops away from Brzezinski, and the San Diego first baseman is aboard with 1 out. So Miller issues his first walk, and Will Middlebrooks will be the batter. Middlebrooks was born in Texarkana, Texas. Lives in Dallas in the offseason. And it's blown away. He was committed to play football and baseball at Texas A&M. He was a quarterback, place kicker, and punter on his high school football team, but he instead signed with the Boston Red Sox. They took him in the 5th round in 2007. Play foul.
He sounds like a quarterback, you know, for Texas A&M. Middlebrooks. Probably an option guy.
Big option guy, 6'3", 220. And he'll be 27 this September. Short hopped. Miller a little out of sorts here in the top of the 4th inning. In the air to center. Maven on the run to his right. And he's there. And that's out number 2. So Middlebrooks is the second out. And here's the villain for the Padres, Corey Spangenberg, who had a terrific second inning at bat. A 9-pitch sequence. Ripped a shot in the right field that brought home Alonso with the game's first run. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. To center. Maven retreats, still going back, has to reach up at the last instant to haul that in. Spangenberg smacked it to center, and Maven tracked it down. Shelby's got a shutdown inning and a 3-1 lead in the 4th.
school. The Braves take Colby Allard, left-handed pitcher, 6'2", about 180 pounds. Here's what we like about this guy. Got a crazy fastball, 92 to 95, good breaking ball, and great competitiveness. You heard the Braves say before that they were going to take the best player available. They went to Southern California to find the number 2 rated left-handed pitcher in the draft. Excellent job.
So there's some video of Colby Allard. The Braves have another first-round selection, number 28 overall, coming up. We'll update you on that when the Braves make their selection. From what I read online a moment ago, he's apparently committed to play at UCLA. So the Braves have to convince him to sign. Boy, that first shot we had of Allard on that little highlight package, just him standing getting a sign, looked just like Cole Hamels to me. The short haircut. If he can pitch anything like Cole Hamels, then he'll have a marvelous pitching career. That's bounced off the plate. Middlebrooks with a bare hand. Throws to first and late. Infield hit for Anderson Simmons, and that's how the Braves' 4th begins. Their 7th hit of the night.
And off to the races. As soon as it bounced off the plate, Anderson never even watched the ball, as he shouldn't. No chance for Middlebrooks to get him.
Todd Cunningham. That's with a man at first. And a quick strike for Todd Cunningham. He's 0 for 1, struck out back in inning number 2. (3-1) Atlanta beating up the Padres in game 1 of the series. And popped out of play. So Paul's been busy this half inning. He's going to check in with Roy Clark. Roy is going to tell us all about the Braves' first overall selection.
Well, guys, a lot of people think the biggest acquisition this offseason was Shelby Miller. I'm going with Super Scout Roy Clark. We got back from the Dodgers and Nationals, responsible for a lot of those great draft picks in the 90s and 2000s. And we've just learned we drafted Colby Allard, left-handed pitcher out of Southern California. And we're here to hear, what do you like so much about this young man?
Okay, he's about 6'2", 175. Going into this year, he was a top-rated pitcher that we had on our board, high school or college, in this draft. A little bit about his ability. He's up to 95 with his fastball, getting a left-hander. Above average breaking ball and above average change. He absolutely dominated all summer. We have a tremendous relationship with him, have with our scouts. He was the best pitcher on Team USA. He pitched against Cuba in the gold medal game, and I think he punched out like 7 out of 10 of their guys. We are very excited to have him. The only reason that we had a chance at the #1 pitcher in this draft coming into, he hurt his back in his 3rd start of the year. Okay, to follow up on that, we brought him here to Atlanta. This is the only place that he would go. He wanted to be a Brave. Nobody else were able to check him out. Our doctors checked him out, signed off on him. Birdie, he's been throwing the last 4 weeks in bullpens, pain-free, and he wouldn't throw for anybody else. This is a Braves type guy. We're getting back to the Braves way, and this is the kind of guys that we need to get.
I love it. So it sounds like not only did you pick him, but he picked you. And you did a great job keeping all this quiet because we weren't sure. I went down to the war room. It was like Fort Knox, but it turns like you got your guy.
We got our guy. We got our guy, and he handpicked us too. He had to make it happen because there were a lot of teams picking in front of us, and he made it be known that if it wasn't with the Braves, he was going to college.
Last thing, you said the Braves way. Can you explain to everybody what that means when you say we're getting back to the Braves way?
Championship type players on and off the field. We're looking for high character, high ceiling athletes. like you.
I know Chip's got a question.
First, the bunt attempt by Shelby Miller. It's a good one, and the Peg will be at first. And there's out number 2. Obviously, the question is signability. We know about the UCLA thing. Roy seems to believe that he's picked the Braves and the Braves picked him. Is this a kid that can rapidly advance through the Braves system, Paul?
So 2 things, Chip's on top of it. Signability with UCLA, and how quick will this young man, you expect him to get to the big leagues?
We expect him to sign within the week. And as far as timetable for to get to the big leagues, that'll be up to him. We're going to turn him over to what we consider the best player development system in baseball. And you know what? I think he'll move quick.
I like it. There you have it. He's confident. He likes the pick. And we hope UCLA has enough other pitchers that they can handle the loss.
Thanks
so
Paul.
much, Roy.
Got it.
All right.
And I'm with Paul. Getting Roy Clark back in the system was paramount. He was so instrumental in drafting guys that were so important to the Braves organization over the last 10 years prior to his departure. So, man, I got a good one back.
1 ball, no strikes for Jace Peterson. And that one squibbed towards second. Spangenberg, nice play, strong arm on an off-balance throw. You can see why the Padres like that young man. Nothing doing in the Atlanta 4th. Busy night, lots to talk about. We'll continue after this.
Right stuff, low price, every day.
Braves chopping away against San Diego as we move to the 5th inning. 3-1 is your score. If just joining us, San Diego scored the first run of the game in the 2nd inning on a Corey Spangenberg 2-out hit that brought home Yonder Alonso. Braves countered with 4 runs in the 3rd inning, 4 consecutive 1-out hits. Last day, Nick Markakis double that brought home Freddie Freeman. Shelby Miller pitching a beaut for Atlanta. He's through 4 innings with 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he's allowed only 3 hits. The other story of the night is the Braves have made their first draft pick. 14th pick overall, left-handed pitcher Colby Allard from San Clemente, California. A UCLA commit, but as you heard Paul's great interview with Roy Clark, a kid that would only pitch for the Braves, wants to be a Brave, and Roy Clark believes that he'll be signed within the week.
Would only pitch for them in a workout to prove that he was healthy. One of the things, reading the scouting reports on him and the pre-draft information, was that because of that injury before the season, scouts were skeptical of, you know, if he would be worthy of a first-round pick because of the injury. And the report said there were reports, quote unquote, of some workouts for scouts to prove his health, but those workouts were never proven to or substantiated to be actual. So I love the fact that Roy said They occurred, but they only occurred here.
Isn't it fun too, in this era with so much information and scouting material available online, all the videos and the smoke screens that get sent out, deflecting attention from a team's true intentions or who their target is. The Braves for so many years have drafted Georgia kids with their first pick, and who knows if, as Barmes singles softly to center with nobody out in the 5th inning. There's talk about the catcher you mentioned from Stone Mountain,
Stevenson, Tyler Stevenson.
There's a kid shortstop here locally that is very highly thought of. Don't know if those guys were targeted or not, but the Braves, from Roy Clark's perspective, are thrilled to have a guy that one scouting service called has all the tools to make up an ace starter kit. Command, stuff, makeup. The only thing he's lacking is a big 6'5" frame.
Tom Glavine didn't have a 6'5" frame.
Neither did Billy Wagner.
Yeah, the height things vary depending on who you read and who you talk to.
Nice bunt by Kennedy. Flip to first is in time. A sacrifice successful. 1 out.
Ranging from 6 feet to 6'2".
So we go back to the top, and Venable will bat with Barmes at second, and 1 out. We are so thankful that Roy Clark took time out of what I can't imagine his schedule's like. Hectic probably doesn't begin to do it justice.
And they got another pick coming up pretty quick.
Right. So I think the last thing he said to Paul downstairs was, let's go get another one. He's probably back in the war room right now, sorting things out for the 28th pick, which is the Braves' second first-round choice. Here's Venable, and a strike. Little roller right side. Tough play. Underhand shovel to first in time. Venable's out number 2. Barmes to third.
Had to hurry this with Venable getting down the line quickly. No trouble.
It ran right away, so obviously now.
And Norris is the hitter. He's 0 for 2.
Of course, Freddie Freeman, a pretty solid number 2 pick out of Southern California a few years ago, and Colby Allard out of San Clemente, California.
Little high. 1 ball, no strikes. As Joe said, Derek Norris, a terrific backstop. One ball, no strikes. Bouncing ball to third and foul. In one way, the Padres are very similar to Atlanta. What they thought would happen hasn't happened. They thought their offense would be consistently explosive all summer long, and they thought their pitching would be dominant. It hasn't worked out that way. In fact, the Padres have given up a lot of homers. 71 home runs allowed this year. They play in one of the best pitchers' parks in Major League Baseball. Ground ball on a broken bat. Peterson's got that. All that Norris has left are splinters in his right hand, and Shelby Miller pitches around on the off single.
Looks like he's running a relay race.
We're tied 1 apiece. So time for our T-Mobile game changer. Cameron Maybin is off to a flying start as a member of the Braves. Look at the difference in numbers, production, and results for Cameron Maybin.
There's no comparison. I mean, he had some nagging injuries over the last couple of years that cut into his games played. You see only 109 games. But boy, he's coming to Atlanta. He's realizing the potential that so many people saw when he got drafted in the first round, ahead of Andrew McCutchen.
And Maybin will lead off the Atlanta 5th. Freeman and Markakis will follow. Ian Kennedy saw 92 pitches through 4 innings. A lot of deep counts. Strike 1 to Maybin. Cameron looking for his 5th consecutive multi-hit game tonight. And he is going to have it. He didn't hit it hard, but he hit it the other way again. And Maybin's 2 for 3.
Well, one of the things that Ian Kennedy can do to you if you try to pull the ball is just wear you out, because he's got 3 really good pitches that he can change speeds on, so that if you're trying to pull, you're just going to ground ball yourself into an 0 for 4. So the Braves have done a good job tonight. We saw Anderson Simmons line some balls foul the first time up. Everybody's trying to go the other way and stay on the ball a little longer.
Which is what Freddie Freeman did last time up. He's got a 2-hit game. San Diego doesn't shift for it. He still took a shot to left and was a little late. Strike 1.
He's now 8 for 12 against Ian Kennedy with 4 walks.
That shaved the outside corner. It's 0-2.
Let's check out the PNC Bank box tracks. Did it have the plate? That shaved the outside corner, and he got the call. 96 pitches already.
And Freddie didn't get that one. He's down on strikes. 1 on, 1 out. That's 5 strikeouts for the Padres right-hander.
Came in with a strikeout per inning pitched. He was 45 punch-outs, 45 innings at the start of play, but a .284 average against him.
Nick snapped an 0 for 10 with a 3rd inning RBI double.
There's some numbers for Ian's batting averages against him, and boy, those are high. Aggressively high.
That's how you pitch to a 6.60 ERA, which is what Kennedy featured at the start of play tonight. He's got 3 runs and 4 1/3 innings so far this evening.
He's 30 years old, 6 feet 200 pounds. Out of Huntington Beach, California.
Taken low, ball 2 as we approach 9 o'clock. Two balls, 1 strike.
Garces and Thayer begin to loosen up.
That's into the camera well. Into the Padres dugout.
Some of the hitters you're seeing, they're getting jammed because they're trying not to give up the outer third of the plate, you know, knowing he's going to throw off speed pitches. So in essence, they're just fighting off fastballs, hoping to get another changeup or breaking ball that they can drive the other way.
Runner goes. Pitch popped up. That's headed for the seats. Maven will head back to first. He leads the league and retreats to first after foul balls in this game. He's got a workout over there.
Well, Nick would like to have that one back. He got a good pitch up to drive the other way and missed it. 110 is the season high in pitches for Kennedy.
Buddy Black pondering his options with 1 on 1 out. 3-1 Braves lead. Runner goes again. Popped up. This one's going to stay in play for Middlebrooks. And Will makes the play for the second out. What does scare you about the Padres offensively is what scared you about the Braves last year. With Kemp, with Upton, with Middlebrooks, with Norris, and Alonso, there are a lot of guys on this club that can hit you with a quick strike home run. So a 2-run lead is nice, but a couple more certainly would make you feel better.
Yeah, as you said, as you called it earlier, quick strike ability.
Let's see what Uribe can do with 2 outs. He has struck out and popped out. He's riding a 7-game hitting streak. He saved some of his best pitches for Juan Uribe.
Sure has. There's a changeup in a good spot. Trying to stay away from any fastballs to Juan.
Back to the screen, out of play. It's 1-2 strikes. Rockies are playing the Cardinals tonight. Colorado scored 4 first-inning runs. David Hale is on the mound for the Rockies. Brave. One-two pitch, and Uribe chased one up around the collarbone and didn't get it, and that'll end the inning. Atlanta gets a leadoff single. Maven left stranded, and we go to the 6th. Braves 3, Padres 1.
AT&T UVerse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Pretty night in Atlanta. 3-1 is your score. We head to the top of the 6th inning. Justin Upton will lead things off. He'll also lead off our AT&T UVerse trivia question. Over the last 5 years, he's one of 2 players with more than 115 homers and 55 or more stolen bases. Who's the other? So power and speed. Rolled foul by Justin. No balls and a strike.
His teammate Matt Kemp might be a consideration.
How about Andrew McCutchen?
Like that.
He's just here with the Pirates. His stolen base numbers down because of a balky knee. Bouncing ball to short. Big hop. Simmons has it. And he'll get Upton by a step for out number 1. You called it yesterday on McCutchen's last ground out. You just said he's not right. He wasn't. He complained about the knee after the game. But he did stay in the game and finish things out for the Pirates. They can't lose him. No, looks like that's something that's going to be plaguing him most of the summer. Here's that man again, Matt Kemp. 0 for 2. He signed through 2019. The Dodgers are paying a lot of the freight for Matt Kemp. But as Drew told us, San Diego took on about $250 million in guaranteed contracts. And Kemp's among the biggest of them. He's an $18 million man this year. In the air to right at Markakis. He hardly had to move. Positioned perfectly. 2 quick outs. And here's Alonso. Something else about the Padres that I think should give them some hope, despite their offensive roller coaster and their starting pitching problems. 47 of their first 58 games have been played against teams with 500 records or better. That's 10 more games than any other team in Major League Baseball against winning clubs. So at some point the schedule should soften up for San Diego, and they might be able to gain some ground as a result.
Yeah, especially with the prospects of the rotation, including that man, big game James Shields.
Sharply hit. Peterson's got it, and Alonso is out number 3. A 6-pitch inning for Shelby Miller. He's got a 3-1 lead.
The Georgia Lottery and Toyota.
Well, as we celebrate 50 years of Braves baseball in Atlanta, the All-Star game in 1972 took place across the street at Fulton County Stadium. Bowie Kuhn was the commissioner of baseball that year. And did you see the ticket price?
$12.
$12 for a ticket to the All-Star game. My oh my, how times have changed. That's Dale Thayer. He's on in relief of Ian Kennedy, who went 5 innings, allowed 8 hits and 3 Atlanta runs.
Good numbers for him. 244 average against him. Low 90s fastball, the slider and a changeup.
Say it every time Dale pitches. It's out of Murrieta, California. Georgia. They have the big burrito out in Murrieta, California, not the big chicken. In case you didn't know that. A little bit of Murrieta, California trip. Balls and a strike to A.J. Przinsky. That's up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Non-drafted free agent is how the Padres acquired Dale Thayer. He first pitched in the big leagues with Tampa Bay in 2009.
He is one of a few, you know. There's just not that many guys that don't get drafted and make it to the big leagues. Not too many Dale Thayers and Brandon Beachy's around.
Makes you appreciate him that much more. He's been good for a long time. 1-2 pitch. And AJ took up and away. He was called out on a check swing strike in the 3rd inning. Asked for an appeal, didn't get it. A little roller. And Przinsky will be out at first. Przinsky is 1 for 3 now. Braves fans, tomorrow night, game 2 of our series. Mike Fultonevich will pitch for Atlanta. And it's David Justice bobblehead night. First 20,000 fans here at Turner Field get a bobblehead commemorating Justice's series-winning home run in the 1995 World Series. Go to Braves.com/tickets and secure your seats today.
1-0, game 6.
Everton Simmons took a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. It's too high, 2-0.
Well, that's a long arm action from Dale Thayer. Once he breaks his hands from his glove.
To center, and Venable has that one measured up. He's got it, 2 out. And the bases are empty for Todd Cunningham. Reds 5, Phillies 3, bottom 5. Milwaukee 1-0 over the Pirates in the 5th inning. Colorado leads the Cardinals 5-0 in the 2nd. Arizona will face the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium in an hour from now. A little tight for Todd Cunningham. 107 pitches for Kennedy over his 5 innings of work tonight. He's really made him work overtime. And a bouncing ball to first. Alonso's got it. He'll win the race to the bag, and this game heads to the 7th inning. Shelby Miller's given up 1 run. He leads by 2. Shelby Miller's having himself a fantastic night tonight for the Braves. Just what he needed after a rough outing against the Arizona Diamondbacks down at Chase Field in Phoenix. Miller's had excellent command of his fastball. As Joe said, mechanically, he looks like that blip in the radar never happened.
Yeah, it just took probably one side session to get back on track. Watch some video to see what he had been doing or what he did in Arizona, and he's corrected it tonight.
So he's got the bottom part of the order coming up in the 7th. Middlebrooks, Spangenberg, and then Barmes. Uribe on a fair ball took away a foul ball from Middlebrooks, and he's stolen out. Nice play by Uribe, who is a terrific defensive third baseman.
Home plate umpire's call until it gets to the bag. And even though he was standing in foul territory, the ball was not. This guy's had the at bat of the night. Two good ones for the Padres.
As I said, you can see why they like him. He's made a couple of good defensive plays too. He's shown a strong arm at second. And he's knocked in the lone Padre run tonight. Miller evens the count. Back out of play.
Quick bat. And I'm sure somewhat eye-opening to Jed Jerko, who probably thought it was his job at second base until he was ready to give it up. What was it Gomer Pyle used to say?
Oh, Miguel. Oh,
surprise, surprise.
Oh, I thought you meant at the Indy 500. But yeah, you're right.
Right by him. Very late on that one. 6 strikeouts now for Shelby.
And here's Barmes. Bouncing ball out of play.
All those balls, all these balls we've seen tonight, one that helped lead to their only run, that are bounced right in front of the plate and chopped. That's a good sign that two-seamer is really moving and moving in on these right-handed hitters. They're tracking it, that they see it out of his hand, and then the late movement on it is running in like around the brand on the bat, so they're having to kind of fight it off and chopping it right in the ground.
Fouled away by Barmes. No balls, 2 strikes. We've told the story a couple of times. Last year with the Cardinals, Shelby Miller was pitching in the bullpen, getting ready to come in and face the Phillies. Said to A.J. Przinsky, "I'm throwing my sinker tonight." He hasn't stopped throwing it since. That ball's going to hang up for Markakis. Diving try, can't get it. It's behind him and headed for the corner. And Barmes around second. He's on his way to third base, and he'll stand there with 2 outs. And that'll be a 3-base hit for Barmes, his first triple of the year. And Yangervis Solarte is going to come on and pinch hit.
Oh my goodness. That ball was just a few inches above the ground. But the pitcher's spot due up, and the pinch hitter is a guy who's really been struggling.
We saw Solarte last year with the Padres. They traded Chase Headley to the Yankees for this young man. He's 27, out of Venezuela. And he looks low at ball 1.
Goes for his last 13.
Broke in with a bang with the Padres, had an RBI in each of his first 5 games. After coming over from the Yankees, the last Padre to do that, Carlos Quentin and Gene Tennis. In fact, had an RBI in 7 of his first 8 games. bounced around a couple of other organizations. The Twins signed him as a non-drafted free agent. Texas got him as a minor league free agent. The Yankees got him as a minor league free agent. It's quite a deal. Minor league free agent turns into Chase Headley. 2 balls and a strike. Right there, 2-2.
Four-seamer with a little heat on it. Good off-speed pitch, but the danger there would be that Anderson's playing way up the middle, and Solarte could take that off-speed pitch the other way, get fooled, and be out on his front foot and take it the other way.
Miller ready for his 94th pitch. Bouncing ball toward the hole. Simmons gloves, grabs, guns, and got it. Shelby Miller got some defensive help from Simmons.
And of course, you can have him hit it over there and rely on that guy to make the play for you.
Decision time for Freddie Gonzalez. Shelby Miller's due to hit first in the Braves' 7th in a 3-1 game. Peterson, Nick Markakis, and Freddie Freeman too. All the offense Shelby Miller needed tonight. Braves right-hander has gone 7 innings, allowing a run on 5 hits. And it looks like his night is going to come to an end after 94 pitches. Miller's spot is due first here in the home 7th. And Atlanta will try to extend its lead, which stands at the moment at 3-1. Chris Johnson will make his way to the batter's box. He's announced, so Shelby's done for the night.
And Chris is going to face a new pitcher. Frank Garces has been called in. Their only lefty in the bullpen. It's his 19th game. Low 90s fastball, slider, and a changeup. This guy's slider is a little bit of a sweeper. There's the change.
He's out of the Dominican Republic. Non-drafted free agent by Texas. The Padres got him as a minor league free agent in May of 2011. He was in 15 games with the Padres last year. He made the jump from Double-A ball to the big leagues. Bouncing ball. Middlebrooks can't corral it. And Chris Johnson will reach. We'll see how that's scored. That's a hit for Chris Johnson.
You know how many times we talk about the Braves third baseman reading hops, charging on in-betweeners that they know they've got to really come in on and get it. Well, Middlebrooks laid back. He waited on that second hop, and by waiting and laying back, he got eaten up. Chris fortunate to get a base hit out of that.
Middlebrooks has committed 4 errors this year, but not that time, and a good start for the Braves. Jace Peterson, lefty versus lefty against Garces, showed bunt and took a ball. I see young players, I always like to see how they do lefty versus lefty. That's, I think, an indicator of what kind of hitter they are at the moment. Jace held his own, 241 against left-handed pitching. He's only struck out 6 times. And he's trying to bunt Chris Johnson over, and he fouled that one at the plate.
Yeah, but he was in a hurry there a little bit. Tried to leave before he got it down. Looks like he was bunting for a hit.
Now a word from Bo Porter. Braves 3, Padres 1, home 7th. Cooking for the Atlanta Bats. Colby Allard, drafted with the first of 2 first-round draft selections by the Braves tonight. Those are the stories for you from Turner Field. One and 2.
That'll pretty much take the bunt off.
It did. And Jace fouled it away. A ball and 2 strikes. So Shelby Miller, an earned run in 7 innings. His ERA drops to 1.84. If the Braves can hold on, he'll go to 6-2. Still needs 6 outs. Sharply hit, diving stop at second, and a roller trickles past the second base bag. Spangenberg with an amazing stop. And his flip try to Barmes hugged the ground, and no chance for Clint to come up with it, and all hands are safe.
This is almost funny. I mean, watch Barmes. Watch Barmes here. Everybody, as a shortstop here, you're expecting a flip. You're not expecting a ground ball. So that's what he thought he was going to have to do, was pancake a ball on the ground. Again, watch Barmes. He's ready for a flip. What? Grounder? What are we doing here? I mean, that's not what Spangenberg was trying to do. That's the way it came out.
He did great work to keep that ball in the infield.
Yeah, he did.
Peterson has his 2nd hit of the night. And the Braves are in business. Long meeting here with Bud Black and Garces and the rest of the Padres infield. Now Paul Emmel will come out and try to break it up.
I like what Paul's doing. He didn't get right up in the middle of him. He waited down on the grass. He could see that Bud was really giving some instructions to his infielders there, not so much his pitcher. And he let him have his say.
So let's see how the Braves play it with Maben. 2 hits, a run, and an RBI for Cameron. 5 consecutive multi-hit games now. The Padres think he's going to bunt.
Here's what you've got to think as a manager. Okay, if we bunt and we're successful, that brings up Freddie. You got a left-handed pitcher, but they may walk Freddie to pitch to Markakis, also left-handed hitter. So you're thinking 3 batters ahead. How do you like your chances with Markakis against this guy?
No bunt. Smack toward Barnes. There's 1. There's 2. 1 and a third. 2 outs. And that might have been the decision process for Freddie Gonzalez, too.
Good point. Yeah.
Let Maben swing away rather than go lefty-lefty twice in a row.
Especially as hot as he is.
Yep. Didn't work out that time as the Padres turn their 40th double play. And Maben and the Braves are down to their last out in the 7th. And it is Freddie Freeman with a man at third base.
And even with a double play, it's still not all that bad having Freddie up here, who's hitting about 1 million with runners in scoring position. .422.
409 at the start of play tonight, but now 422. Yeah, you're right.
And the only remnant of a shift against him is Spangenberg out in right field, shallow right field.
That's taken low. Jim Johnson's the man throwing in the Braves bullpen. He'll come on to pitch the 8th. He'll have the 1, 2, 3 hitters for San Diego. How many pass balls did you say Norris had?
9. 3 more than anybody else, or their team has 9. Excuse me.
One here would be nice. What a wild pitch. It's a big run 90 feet away, represented by Chris Johnson. Freeman thought it was outside. That changes the at bat.
PNC Bank breaking ball tracks off the plate.
Now the 2-2. They lose Freeman. They lose nothing. They've got a couple bases open.
And they went back to the same spot, threw that one a little harder to try to get him to chase. Didn't happen. And I would be very surprised if they throw him a fastball here with another lefty on deck.
Ball 4. Oh, boy. Versus wanted that pitch.
Yeah, they did throw him a fastball, and it was a pretty good pitch. Norris held it there, too. PNC Bank, what you got? Good framing job by Norris, but it was off the grid. Thank you, PNC Bank. PNC Bank for all your banking needs. Now back to the play-by-play action.
With Nick Markakis standing at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. 3-1 Atlanta. The Braves have out hit the Padres 10-5. Nick has an RBI doubled in 3 trips. And spanked foul, strike 1. Pals Rich Walls and Tommy Hutton not having a whole lot of fun tonight. Toronto's beating Miami 11-3, and they've got the bases loaded in the 7th. But cheer up, Tommy and Rich. Canadian runs, it's only 7.
Good point.
It's a lot closer game than the scoreboard would indicate.
And Jose Fernandez is already doing his rehab work. He'll be back soon.
Yep. 1-1 pitch. And miss low. 2 balls and a strike. Toronto's starting to play, by the way everyone thought they would.
Like I thought they would.
Yep. 4.5 out. If they win tonight, that'll be 6 in a row. The Toronto Blue Jays. They would be a game under 500. 2-1 pitch for Nick.
Quackenbush. Yes, Quackenbush is up in their bullpen.
Three-one pitch, and that's ball 4. So Bud Black is on his way to the mound, and Quackenbush is going to come pitch with 3 ducks on the pond for the Braves.
I heard that.
Here in the 7th. I got to make up for the Sean Kemp thing. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to, but I couldn't resist. 3-1, bases loaded. We're back in a minute. This Wednesday, it's June 10th, a free post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. A limited number of VIP field and backstage passes are still available. Go to Braves.com/concerts for all the details. Joe and I were talking in between break about the strategy of this particular inning, and we'll get to that in a moment. First, let's check out the AT&T Uverse trivia question. Justin Upton is one of 2 players with more than 115 homers and 55 or better steals over the last 5 years. Who's the other player?
Well, you had Cutchin. I had Kemp. I thought of another guy, Gomez in Milwaukee.
Ooh, that's a good one too. What about Lagares?
Not enough homers.
Not enough homers?
I'm gonna go Gomez.
Go Gomez. Okay, and it doesn't say National League, so it could be an American League player too. And of course,
we didn't have either one of them, so they just threw it up there.
Yep, of course. Here's Curtis Granderson. Good player.
Seeing it funny, I looked at the New York team in the standings, and Granderson still doesn't register with me being with the Mets. Here's the Quacker.
And he's got Juan Uribe up there. You wonder why a major league manager has gray hair? Think about the options for both Freddie Gonzalez and Bud Black in this inning. Braves had 2 on, nobody out. Atlanta decides not to bunt. Maben hits into a double play. Then Bud Black has the lefty come in to face Freeman and Markakis, and he walks them to load the bases. And now they're loaded for Quackenbush.
Yeah, they were rolling right along.
Right?
Perfect inning.
And that's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Quackenbush, 89 to 91. Good curveball that he threw first pitch to Uribe. Mostly fastball, curveball.
Ground ball and hit the base runner. Freddie Freeman is hit by the batted ball. Freeman will be out. Uribe will be credited with a hit, and the Braves don't get a run.
It was going to be a hit.
Yeah.
It was going to be up the middle for an RBI or 2.
And that really hurts, figuratively and literally. Quackenbush fills the bill, and Atlanta out of luck.
You can see that it was headed for center field. Barmas, I'm not sure, was going to be able to get to it. Jump, Freddie. And then got some heat from Juan on the way out.
Cost him 2 RBIs, maybe.
Juan gets a base hit on the ruling, and Freddie's out 6 unassisted.
And so into the fray comes Jim Johnson. He's got the 1-2-3 hitters up for San Diego. Atlanta leads. Boy, those 2 runs, or at least one of them, would be awfully nice to have. For we are in what has been the dicey part of the Braves pitching staff, the bullpen. Well, Shelby Miller went 7. He gets the ball directly in the hands of Jim Johnson. Attempt is well foul, strike 1. Drew handed us a note that I thought was interesting. Home ERA for the Braves bullpen this year is 4.36. On April 28th and 29th, the Braves had 2 awful games against Washington. The Nationals had those 2 big comebacks.
Right.
Saw the Atlanta pen give up 8 earned runs. You take away those 2 games, and more than a full earned run is shaved off the Braves' home bullpen ERA. It goes to 3.14.
That's not just respectable, that's darn good.
Right. Let's hope Jim Johnson can help lower it further with a spotless 8th. He just missed inside with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
But Jim's has been every other outing lately, beginning the last road trip at Los Angeles.
That's headed for right center field, and that's trouble. Venable is aboard. Maven cuts it off, but Venable has a leadoff double, his 2nd hit of the game, and the Padres will bring the tying run to the plate.
May 27th at Los Angeles, no runs. Next outing at San Francisco, 2 runs. Next outing at San Francisco, no runs. Next outing at Arizona, 2 runs. And then against Pittsburgh the other day, 2/3 of an inning, a base hit that he was charged with a blown save. So it's been every other outing lately for him. And need a good one tonight with only a 2-run lead.
Norris is the San Diego catcher. He's 0 for 3 tonight. As Joe mentioned, tons of RBIs for Norris, 35 of them. That's the most among National League catchers.
He hit 270 last year for Oakland, 10 homers, had a really good year. And it's not like Oakland got world beaters back for him, with all due respect. All about money. He's got about, I think, 3 years in the big league, so he might be eligible for arbitration at the end of this season. And that was what they were considering, I'm guessing.
Moneyball hasn't worked for Oakland this year. They're 11.5 games out of first and 13 under 500.
Yeah, call Brad Pitt.
Don't want to put Norris on in front of Justin Upton. Upton's hit 12 home runs, and he's on deck. Fly ball foul. Freeman on the run. Can't get there. It's in the stands. 3-1.
I'm really surprised by that. And I'm only surprised because I don't get to see these guys play very much, and I haven't seen Derek Norris play hardly at all. And certainly he's been one of their big producers. But 3-0. Oh, Bud Black kind of surprised too.
Might have been.
I think he was.
They need base runners. Might have swung at ball 4. 3 balls and a strike. Fly ball well hit. Markakis surrenders turf. And he's there to make the play. Tagging is Venable. He'll move to third with 1 out. Productive out for Norris. Let's see if Bud Black gives him an earful after he swung at a 3-0 pitch. At the very least, he advanced the runner. So here's Upton. All Justin can do is tie the game if he goes deep. He struck out twice and grounded out once.
The guy that Jim has to be concerned with right now is the guy at the plate, not the guy at third.
Oh, that was over Upton's head. As he ducked, it hit the barrel of the bat.
.94 right at his helmet. Fortunately, got out of the way.
No balls and a strike. Ground ball to short. Simmons smothers. He'll throw to first in time. Upton's credited with an RBI. That's a courageous at bat after one almost took him out helmet high. He brings home the second run to make it a 3-2 game.
He's a big league hitter. That's what those guys do. They have something like that happen. They cannot give ground.
So Johnson allows an 8th inning run, and he's not out of the woods yet. Here's Matt Kemp. High ball 1. Now it's even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers had an outfield glut. Kemp was the first to go. He's knocked in 31 men. Two balls, 1 strike. toward third. That's a fair ball. Uribe's got it, and the peg to first in time ends the inning. Venable reaches with a leadoff double. He comes home on an Upton ground out. The Padres pull to within a run. For the Braves all year long, our friends at Delta Airlines get us from city to city. We'll see Mac Honey and the gang after we wrap up this series with Padres. Braves have a brief road trip coming up. Starting Friday, we'll go to New York to play the Mets, then 2 with the Red Sox at beautiful Fenway Park in Boston.
We won't know how to pack. We're all just going to bring 3 suitcases. Probably none of them filled up with anything because we just used to 10-day trips.
Right. A.J. Brzezinski will lead off. He's doubled in 3 trips.
What month is this?
This will be June.
Okay, that explains the June bug.
There you go. That's downstairs for A.J. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They've tried to really, ever since they got that call on the check swing on A.J. back in the 3rd inning, they've really been trying to bury sliders in that back foot.
Right off the hands. Barnes in the shift throws him out. 1 man down. 6-3 put out. And that'll bring up Anderson Simmons. The start of the year, the Padres had a real rarity. They had 2 players whose surnames started with Q on their roster. They had Carlos Quentin, who came to the Braves. The Upton, the Craig Kimbrell, B.J. Melvin Upton deal. Braves, of course, designated Carlos for assignment. He later retired. And Kevin Quackenbush, who's out of Land O'Lakes, Florida.
Where is that? Do you know? Land O'Lakes?
I don't. I just know they have very good butter.
Yeah. I like those little paths.
Yeah. Nice golden foil. 8th round pick by the Padres 2011, and another strike at 3-1. He went to the University of South Florida, set a school record for relief pitchers with an .080 earned run average in 2011. To short. Barmes, slick pick, and his throw. And there's out number 2. Our commissioner tonight is Paul Bird. The Braves selection is in, and number 28 is Paul.
Well, I appreciate that. It's Mike Soroka, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. But we had to go out of the country, up to Calgary in Canada, to get a young man that's 6'5", 210 pounds, fastball up to 94, 95 miles an hour. They said they were going after athletes. They may even tease to say they were looking at hitters, but I see a theme in this draft. They're going after high school pitching, seems to be the best available. And another young man that's a power guy, frontline rotation. We'll see what happens.
Thanks, Paul.
So Colby Allard, the first Brave selection, a left-handed pitcher out of high school in Southern California. This one, the number 28 pick, Mike Soroka, out of Bishop Carroll High School in Canada. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right there, 1-2.
One surprise, I think, is Daz Cameron, former big leaguer Mike Cameron's son, has not been selected. He was projected in some mock drafts in the top 5.
Swing and a miss by Cunningham, and peg to first is in plenty of time. Quackenbush, an impressive inning and 3rd in relief. Jason Grilli is on for Atlanta to pitch the 9th inning. The lights are off, the grill is fired up, and he'll try to protect a 1-run lead. Two is your score. Time for our Toyota key play of the game. It was the proved to be deciding whether the ball game to this point. Nick Markakis in the 3rd inning with a double that brought home Freddie Freeman. Part of a 3-run, 4-hit Atlanta 3rd.
Yeah, Freddie scored all the way from first. Good hustle by him.
So in the 9th inning, the 5, 6, 7 hitters are coming up for the Padres, and Jason Grilli is on to pitch for the Atlanta Braves, looking for his 16th save.
Well, they need him to have a good inning, clean inning, and chalk up a W the first game of this series. Last outing was 2 days ago against Pittsburgh, and he actually got the win with an inning of 0s and 1 strikeout. That was courtesy of the walk-off homer by Bethancourt.
Really pitching for the 3rd time in 12 days for Atlanta. And the first man, always the key man. It's Yonder Alonso, and he takes a 93-mile-an-hour fastball high. You know, Grilli knows the man he succeeded is in the San Diego bullpen. That's, of course, Craig Kimbrell. Wonder what was going through Craig's mind as he saw Grilli come in with the lights going off. And not Welcome to the Jungle, but a different theme song entirely for the man closing games for Atlanta.
He might have been standing down by the gate.
2 balls, no strikes. Pop fly foul on a play as we approach 10 o'clock in Atlanta. Game 1, good ball game. Shelby Miller pitched brilliantly, 7 innings of 1-run ball. Atlanta forced Ian Kennedy into 107 pitches through 5 innings and 3 runs. A crazy 7th inning saw a batted ball hit a Braves base runner with the bases loaded that cost Atlanta a very important insurance run. Braves those still lead 3-2. Anthony's 2-2 now. Fell back. And on the ricochet, that one ended up back in the left-hand batter's box.
The thing about Kimbrell going to a new team, coming back here, is that he was in spring training all spring with these guys, so he knows all of them. It's not like he's coming back and seeing a strange team with all these new faces. He was with them right up to the day before the season started.
In fact, it was Craig Kimbrell and Freddie Freeman, with all the changes in the offseason, you might recall, that had the idea of passing out T-shirts in the clubhouse that said, "Hello, my name is."
Yeah, right.
And 10 hours before a new season began, Craig Kimbrell was on his way to San Diego as a member of the Padres. He might have needed to take one of those shirts himself. He joined his new mates out west. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Really grunting with every pitch.
The good thing was, for Craig, it was a short flight, Miami to San Diego. Good at bat here by Alonso, who's been their toughest out in recent days. 1 for 2 with a walk tonight.
Just missed. Now he's run it full.
Oh, that was a pitch I was hoping he would throw him. The breaking ball. And the PNC Bank shows you it had the line. Good pitch.
Now they're making Grilli work hard. A 9-pitch at bat so far for Yonder Alonso.
He came to the Padres in the Matt Latos deal, as I recall.
That's correct. Swing and a shot down the right field line. That's a fair ball. And that's going to bounce over the fence. On a hop, it's a ground rule double for Alonso. A 10-pitch at bat. And now the tying runs in scoring position for the Padres. Doubles to start the 8th and the 9th.
Came back with a fastball up and in. Boy, was that a great big league swing right there to get on that pitch.
So once again, nothing's come easy for Jason Grilli. It's been a while since he's had a 1-2-3 frame. And now he's got to work hard with Middlebrooks and Spangenberg coming up.
We'll see how good they are at ABC baseball when it counts.
Now with the tying run in scoring position and nobody out, the Padres bullpen begins to work. Benoit and Kimbrel are starting to throw. Good pitch.
This guy connected on a good fastball his last time up. Actually, it was in the 4th inning. Better fastball hitter than off-speed pitch.
Will foul that straight back. It's now a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, if he's able to retire Middlebrooks without letting him get that runner to third base, it changes the whole dynamic of the inning. It creates a situation for the Padres where they got to get a hit or count on the Braves to make an error to get him in with one swing. They don't have the luxury of making an out to get the tying run in.
You can really hear Grilly grunting with every pitch.
Couple of fastballs, hoping it sets up another chase on a breaking ball.
Struck him out. Middlebrooks went fishing. Joe, great call. He looked lost on a couple of breaking balls in that sequence, and there's the first out.
But he didn't go back to it right away. He threw a couple of fastballs that made him respect the fastball, put it in his head. And now a pinch runner at second.
It's Melvin Upton who stands at second base. Stop by the Braves clubhouse store at CNN Center. Get your very own Jason Grilly grilled cheese t-shirt. Be sure to pick one up while they're hot by stopping by the clubhouse store at CNN Center today or by calling 404-523-5854. So here's Spangenberg. He had the best at bat of the game for the Padres in the 2nd inning. A 9-pitch sequence that brought home the first San Diego run.
Just activated after spending some time in El Paso on a rehab assignment. Melvin Upton Jr.
Hit 280 down there, had a 333 on base. Came back from the foot problem that sidelined him in spring training for the Braves. That gives Buddy Black some more options in center field. They're still waiting for Will Myers to come back. Out with tendonitis in the wrist. 1-1 pitch. Ball 2.
Changed his eye angle, didn't help. He didn't offer. He took that low fastball. He went upstairs. He laid off that too.
Pickoff play. Grilly threw it to center field. And Upton's now 90 feet away.
And Braves pitchers continue to shoot themselves in the foot. The number of errors made by Braves pitchers continues to mount, and at just the costliest of times. So the great work really made on the strikeout of Middlebrooks is erased by this wild throw and the tying run at third with one out anyway.
So now the Padres can play it a lot of different ways, and Grilly needs a strikeout or an atom ball here. Something on the infield. Two balls and a strike. If you lose Spangenberg, you've got Barmes on deck. A double play would be in order. But Barmes is 2 for 3 tonight. Fly ball left. That's going to be deep enough. Cunningham will drift back. There's the catch. Upton tags, and he gallops home with the tying run. Simmons made it close with a token throw to the plate, but a leadoff double and a pitcher's error and a sacrifice fly, and the Padres have tied the game. It's a blown save for Grilly, and Atlanta's relief corps in the 8th and 9th has allowed 2 runs.
And the good work by Shelby Miller goes by the wayside. Harmless out.
Yep.
Without the error.
And how big is the batted ball off Freddie Freeman right now?
Yeah.
So 2 outs. Here's Barmes. He's singled. He's tripled. Strike 1. Couldn't check his swing. It's now 0-2. Grilly's spot is due first when the Braves bat in the 9th inning. And the 0-2 pitch. Popped up. And Markakis in right is there. He's got it. And that'll retire the side. Leadoff doubles in the 8th and 9th turn into the 2nd and 3rd runs for the Padres. They've tied it at 3. The Braves are up in the home 9th next.
Of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. 3-3 is your score as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Judd Jerko
Jed Jerko, I beg your pardon, takes over for the Padres at first base. Remember, Alonso was pinch run for with Melvin Upton. So it's Jerko at first, Benoit on the pitch. And he'll have the 9, 1, and 2 spots on the Braves lineup card to deal with. Benoit used to be the closer. Now that Craig Kimbrell's in the Padre bullpen, Benoit's setting him up.
Well, he's not a bad alternate if Craig needed a day off. 92 to 95 with an excellent changeup and excellent slider.
Braves had a walk-off hit from Christian Bethancourt on this homestand. Let's see if Ternaslovich can do that. As the first one missed outside. Popped him up. Barmes and Middlebrooks. It will be Middlebrooks. Barmes was right behind him just in case. And Ternaslovich pops out. Still looking for his timings. It's coming back. And he's out number 1. Chase Peterson hits. He's 2 for 4.
Changeup, boy, it's a good one.
An unearned run ties the game for the Padres in 9th. Only 2. Slow roller out towards second. Jace Peterson's retired. 2 are out in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Cameron Maven will be the batter.
You know, they have the stat, the blown save stat, and sometimes a guy can get a blown save in the 7th or 8th inning, and I don't think that's fair because the game is
it's not over.
It's not over, and that's one rule I wish they would adjust to only apply when you need 3 outs to win the game. Otherwise, when you see a team that's got a huge blown save stat and most of them are in the 7th or 8th inning, it's kind of deceiving. That was the second for Grilly.
Conversely, when a pitcher has an 8-run lead in the 6th inning and he gets a 1-2-3 frame, he's credited with a hold because he doesn't give up. Yeah, that's another one of those somewhat misleading stats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Maybe it's late. It's 1-2.
Nick Massett is next.
Off his thumbs, bounce toward third. Oh, Middlebrooks picked that one nicely. Had a little trouble earlier, but he charged that ball, unlike playing back earlier in the night. And we've got free baseball in Atlanta. We head to the 10th. The Padres have scored 2 unanswered runs late to force extra innings.
season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
We head to the 10th inning. Game 1 of 4 with the San Diego Padres. Here's your telecast schedule for the Braves on Sports South this week. We continue tomorrow and Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern Time with Braves Live. Then a day game finale to the series and the homestand. And it's an early start. Pre-game show at 11:30 Eastern. First pitch shortly after 12. Only on Sports South. Late night for the youngsters at the ballpark. We are at 10:20 Eastern Time. And we're in the 10th inning. Nick Massett has grabbed a baseball. He will go to work first. Jed Jerko will lead things off for San Diego.
Padres are 2-2 in extra innings. The Braves 1-1. By the way, Mr. Glavine has chimed in.
Yeah.
We've heard from the Alpharetta precinct on Mike Sirocco from Calgary.
Yeah.
Tom said hockey player, athlete.
It's just relentless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next time we see Tommy, we're going to have to put on the foil and take care of that. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jerko, and that's over the outside edge. It's 1-2. What's happened to this guy? He was, and still is ostensibly a real good player. But he's lost a lot of playing time. Hit 23 homers in 2013. Never hit for a high average. Hit 249 that year. Last season in 111 games hit 210. Strikeout's a big problem. 1 every 4 at bats for him. Plantar fasciitis cost him 44 games last season. And signed through 2019.
Yeah, I don't know Jed, and I don't know anything about his personality or his makeup other than those numbers you talked about 2 years ago. I just hope it doesn't have this downturn, doesn't have anything to do with his getting real comfortable and with a new contract, 4-year deal, and relaxing. I hope that's not the case for this young player because he's too good to do that.
I'll tell you how starved for runs the Padres have been the last couple of years. As he chased the ball, middle of the cap high, and is struck out by Massett. His 63 RBIs in 2013 and his 51 RBIs last year led the Padres both years.
No kidding.
He's out number 1 as Massett heated him up. Here's Venable. A single, a double, and a run scored for Venable. Told you earlier, this kid wears out Atlanta pitching. Over a 300 lifetime batting average against the Braves, and that's continued tonight. I know Will's dad played in the big leagues. His dad was Max. I don't remember him much as a player.
He was in the Dodger organization when I was there, just coming up. Good solid player. Spent a little time in the big leagues, I know, but I don't know if it was with the Dodgers, maybe the Expos, off the top of my head. But a good player.
Two balls and a strike. Sharply hit. Peterson got a big hop. 360 spin. Nice play. No, for a young player, Joe, there's a great sense of confidence when the ball's hit to the right side of the infield in Jace Peterson.
Yeah, and the funny part is that once the Braves got Juan Uribe, we talked a lot about how Uribe and Simmons were as good as it gets defensively on the left side in the National League. Well, you know what? With Jace's constant improvement at second base, he and Freddie are pretty formidable on the right side, too.
Real slick tonight. Here's Norris. Be wary of this man. 6 homers for the Padre catcher. And Upton waiting on deck. Now 2 balls and a strike.
They've had some good swings tonight at good fastballs. Shelby Miller was on top of his game, threw a great ball game for 7 innings, but they went after his fastball and on several occasions foul tipped, had good swings at it. Kimbrel and Maurer. Kimbrel if they get a lead here.
Popped up. Peterson drifts out into shallow right. He says he's got it, and he does. Nick Massett works a 1-2-3 10th inning. On to the order up for the Braves. Freeman, Markakis, and Uribe. We're tied at 3. Nice crowd tonight at the ballpark. 21,458. Not many have departed as we hit 10:30 Eastern time. Rally caps of all sorts are on for the Braves, who will take aim at Brandon Maurer. He's a right-handed pitcher, formerly with the Seattle Mariners. Big kid, 6'5", 220 pounds. A high school teammate of Garrett Cole at Orange Lutheran California High School.
Wow, is that right?
How'd they ever lose a game?
Ooh, I don't know. Look at those numbers, though. Sub-2 ERA, little walks to strikeouts. 93 to 96, the range on his fastball. A lot of sliders and a changeup.
He'll face Freddie Freeman first. Freddie's reached base 3 times. 2 singles, a run, and RBI, and he was hit with a batted ball tonight. And Maurer delivers a strike. That's low, and he can count. Crowd's been in the game all night tonight. They've seen a good one. 3-3 score. And back foul on the play. It's 1-2. And Freeman's down on strikes. One away in the home 10th. Nick Markakis, the batter.
That was really a good pitch. It's his changeup at 88. And Freddie swinging in front of him.
Nick Markakis, A.J. Przinsky, Juan Uribe have seen Brandon Maurer. Markakis 1 for 5 against him.
We've said before many times, whether it was when Tom Glavine was here or John Smoltz, but talking about young pitchers, and if you develop and work on and practice a changeup instead of breaking balls, it sure makes a difference.
Hopper to second, close play, and Markakis is the second out. Hitting streak to 8 games in the 7th inning. His batted ball hit Freddie Freeman running between second and third base with the bases loaded. What looked to be at least a 1-run scoring hit instead turned into an inning-ending out. Uribe credited with a hit with the bases loaded, but no RBI as Freeman was out with the putout credited to the shortstop. That ball handcuffed Uribe. Middlebrooks charges, bare hand throw to first, and he got it. Maurer with an impressive 10th inning. Tied up the Braves and sends it to the 11th. Upton, Kemp, and then we'll see for the Padres. 3-3 your score.
Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Time for tonight's CPI Security Game Summary. Unfortunately, Joe, another excellent start by a Braves starting pitcher, wasted by late runs.
Yeah, the 1 run in the 8th inning charged to Jim Johnson after a leadoff double by Venable, and then the tying run in the 9th inning that was really set up by the throwing error by Grilli, unfortunately. So Shelby Miller's 7 strong innings, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts will go as a no decision. And the Braves got those 3 runs all in 1 inning in the 3rd. They put them together after one out, put 4 hits together. Markakis with a big double in there. You have to figure out some more offense here in the late inning or in the extra innings.
But defense first. Cody Martin will face Justin Upton in the 11th inning for San Diego. 20 games for Cody, 4 homers in 21 and a 3rd innings. Breaking ball missed low to Justin Upton. He had a big at bat for the Padres in the 8th inning. The runner at third base. Jim Johnson uncorked a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that was headed right for his helmet. He ducked under it. The ball hit his bat. It was a foul ball. The very next pitch, Upton stood in there and grounded out to short to pull the Padres to within 3-2. A little late at 91. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Got one thing on his mind. He was trying to did get some extension, but he was on an outside pitch. He was trying to pull.
Did he go? He did not.
Back-to-back good pitches from Cody that Upton didn't even offer. I mean, there was a check swing on the high fastball. I loved that pitch going up out of the zone on him, but he didn't swing.
Don't want to walk him. Full count. Upton protects the plate. That one is out of play. We talked earlier about all the trades and players trading organizations between these two clubs. Money was, of course, a big part of it in the case of the Kimbrel and both Upton trades. Justin's a free agent at the end of the year, and the kind of numbers he's putting up, he's going to get a king's ransom. And the Braves aren't in a position, or were they in a position with the state of the franchise, to give Justin the kind of contract the market might bear out, especially in light of what Giancarlo Stanton got in Miami. Plays out the string in San Diego, and then he'll wait and see who his suitors are at the end of the year. And he did walk to start the 11th inning. Upton has walked 28 times now, and keep an eye on him. He's also stealing bases again.
Yeah, he walked 4 times in Cincinnati in that 3-game series, and now draws one here, and he's swiped 11 bases. With regard to Justin and to Jason Hayward, there were no sure things whether or not the Braves were going to be able to re-sign him. There were no sure things about even that they were going to have good years that would make them worth re-signing. The only thing that was sure thing was making a deal where you're getting prospects or players back that you knew you were going to have under your control for a while.
Case of Upton, absolutely nothing personal. The Braves have nothing but the highest regard for him.
Absolutely
as a teammate,
not.
As a guy, as a player.
He did everything they expected of him and more.
Kemp takes low, ball 1. Upton, as we said, 11 for 11 in steals. He had 16 stolen bases in 2 years with Atlanta. So he's feeling frisky over there at first. Let's see how the Padres play it. Big gap in left center for Kemp. Upton a good lead. Not going. And ball 2 high.
And Cody's slow to the plate. He's been trying to work on his slide step a little bit, but just with that last pitch, big high leg kick, rushed himself a little bit, knowing he needed to be quicker to the plate, and missed.
Play foul, and 2 balls and a strike to Kemp. Runner goes. Good jump. Pitch a strike. Throw to second is high and a little late. So Upton is 12 out of 12 in steals, and the go-ahead run now in scoring position. Nobody out. And Brzezinski to the mound with a new set of signs.
AJ was frustrated when he took his mask off after this throw down to second base, but this wasn't on him. I mean, Justin's already popping up by the time the ball gets there, and that's the fact, or that's the product of a great jump on the pitcher.
Pitcher spot due next for the Padres. Let's see if Martin can keep Kemp from advancing Upton here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Took a shot at right and out of play. It's Alexi Amarista in the on deck circle. Padres have Austin Hedges and Amarista left as extra players. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a drive down the left field line. That ball is off the fence. Upton scores. Kemp claps his hands as he stands at second with a go-ahead double. And the leadoff walk turns into a Padres run in the 11th. It's 4-3 San Diego.
Oh boy.
Hanging breaking ball. Almost hit it out of the ballpark. He just hit it too low. But he knew he had put his team on top.
So that's the end of the road for Cody Martin. A walk, a double, and a 4th Padre run. 3 of the 4 runs scored by the San Diegans have come against the Atlanta bullpen. And Luis Avilan is coming in next. Matt Kemp has chased home Justin Upton with a go-ahead run for the Padres in the top of the 11th inning. And Luis Avilan will check in to face Alexi Amarista, the Padres pinch hitter.
If there's one good note for Luis Avilan, it's his inherited runners. It's the 5th best mark in the major leagues. 20 inherited runners, only 1 has scored. However, his last time out against the Pirates, a 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, and he took the loss. And that was on a homer.
Braves think he's going to bunt with nobody out. Let's see if that's the case. It is. And he bunted it straight back foul. Strike 1. That's Glenn Hoffman That's Alexi Amarista, often the Padres third base coach. Padres have not won a game yet this year when they've trailed after 8 innings. They're down 3-2 after 8 tonight. They lead 4-3 in the 11th now. Throw back towards second. Runner breaks, and he's going to make it without a play. Matt Kemp just swiped third.
And he's suckered the Braves right into it. I mean, he was dancing off second, anticipating the bunt, but he knew exactly what he was trying to do. Watch him bounce, bounce. He's hoping to get picked off, or at least draw a throw to get picked off, and then off to the races. Heads up play.
Infield in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball hammered center. Maben on the run, not going to get there. That's going to score Kemp. Amarista on his way to second. He has doubled. It's now a 5-3 game.
No need for Amarista to bunt, huh?
Nope.
So again, a left-handed hitter comes back to haunt Luis Avilan.
Braves bullpen's allowed 4 runs now, and there's still nobody out in the 11th inning. How many times have we said it? How many times have you, the fans, seen it in the history of baseball? Leadoff walks in late inning situations leads to major problems. Fly ball by Middlebrooks to right. Amarista is going to tag at second after the Markakis catch. And there's your first out.
Tell you, Chip, for a team that was advertised as all or nothing, strikeouts or homers, shutouts or blowouts, this team's done a lot of good little things tonight.
Yes, they have. And it's really, from the Braves' perspective, a tale of 2 games. Shelby Miller had the Padres absolutely mesmerized at the plate. But they got into Freddie Gonzalez's bullpen. And it wasn't the setup guys, it was the 8th and 9th inning guys tonight.
Right.
And that's, again, the most frustrating thing for Roger McDowell and Freddie Gonzalez. Right now, there is not a reliable option that those 2 men can go to in the Braves bullpen. Spangenberg. Infield in. Bounced foul towards the Braves dugout. And from the Padres' perspective, this sets up perfectly. Upton has scored a run. Upton has scored a run, and Kimbrel is loosening in the bullpen. You know, his heart's beating 1,000,000 miles an hour right now. Missed it earlier on the homestand. The Braves did sign 2 veteran relievers that they have sent down to AAA Gwinnett. David Aardsma and Dana Eveland. Aardsma a righty, Eveland a lefty. Both had major league opt-outs in their contracts. Those 2 men have been signed by the Braves. They're at AAA getting some work in. Peter Moylan is down at Gwinnett as well. Roger McDowell said he's doing okay down there, but apparently right now none of those 3 are quite ready to join the big league club.
Yeah, I know there was going to be a process for Peter to work back-to-back days or 3 out of 5 days, things like that.
Swing and a miss by Spangenberg. He is struck out. Can't bring home Amarista. And there's out number 2. So, bottom line, the Braves bullpen, if you want to use the cliche, it is what it is. This is what they have. Barmes didn't get a change. Strike 1. Fastball. 0-2. Swing and a miss by Barmes, and the peg to first is in time, and that will retire the side. The Padres score 2 runs on 2 hits, a walk, and 2 stolen bases. And now Craig Kimbrell will make his way in from the bullpen for the San Diego Padres. He will try to close things out with the bottom part of the Braves order coming up in the 11th inning. Five, Atlanta 3, and Craig Kimbrell is now on to try to close it out for the San Diego Padres. Here are some of the highlights of Craig's perennial all-star career as a member of the Braves, the franchise all-time saves leader, traded the day before opening day. And there you see his remarkable 5-year run as a Brave, including the Rookie of the Year in 2011.
He's got 13 saves for the Padres. He'll be going for number 14 tonight against his old ball club. Strikeouts, 21 innings. That's no big surprise. 4.29 ERA is a bit of a surprise. 1 blown save.
And A.J. Pierzynski will be the first man to greet him in the home 11th. Braves are down 5-3. The blueprint for the Braves at the start of the year was to have Johnson, Grilli, and then Kimbrell. It was going to be the 3-headed Braves bullpen monster in the final 3 innings. The Braves wanted to rid themselves of Melvin Upton's contract, and the price was Craig Kimbrell. Missed downstairs with ball 2. And the acquisition of Kimbrell by the Padres, Joe, was a head-scratcher in one regard. One, they took on another very large salary in Kimbrell, as well as Upton. But in the last 4 years, when leading after 8 innings, the Padres had lost only 9 games.
Yeah, there wasn't a horrible deficiency there. Beginning in 2011, 62-3, then 68-2, 63-3, and last year they were 63-1. And they had Houston Street in there for a while. He's no longer with the ball club, but it wasn't like they were in dire need.
Bouncing ball to first, and an easy play for Barmes, who takes over. There's out number 1.
I still firmly believe when you look at this, when they lead after 8, that there had had to be something to do with the Padres' fear of the Dodgers getting it. Because remember, their closer Jansen was out with it on the DL, and there had to be some scuttle out there that they were listening to or heard that the Dodgers might be interested, might be able to try to make a deal, and the Padres couldn't let that happen.
So Kimbrel has his first out, and now Andrelton Simmons. And there's the heartbreaking ball. Strike one. The Braves shortstop. Padres trying to get over 500. They're 29-29. They're trying to chase down the Dodgers out west. LA is beating Arizona at home 1-0. Game's in the bottom of the third. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. I'm sure in the back of Craig's mind is, look, let's get the save, let's get the win, and more important, not more importantly, but as importantly, let's get this first game out of the way and over with against his former team. Can't be easy, as you said. You spent all spring, all winter, and right before opening day, you're wearing a uniform. Two balls, 2 strikes. And downstairs. Bouncer up the middle. Amarista glides and guns in time. 2 out.
This play made that look easy.
Kimbrel's used to good shortstop play behind him, isn't he?
I would say.
And here's Todd Cunningham, the final hope for Atlanta. I've got Mauer, Martin, and Kimbrel as the pitchers of record if Craig can get the final out. And a bouncer fouled at first. And Cunningham and the Braves down to their last strike. The 0-2 pitch. And that's your ball game. Breaking ball from Craig Kimbrel seals the deal. He earns his 14th save. The Padres win for the first time this year when trailing after 8 innings. Atlanta's bullpen over the final 4 frames tonight allowed 4 runs to the Padres. They erase a 3-1 deficit and win game 1 of the series tonight by a final score of 5-3. For Craig Kimbrel, a sigh of relief. He picks up the save. He's back in Atlanta. And he seals the deal against his former club in Game 1 at Turner Field tonight. More for the ballpark coming up after this.